If you're not satisfied with where you are right now in life, you can literally just become a new person. Because that's what I did 2 years ago when I was a degenerate, drinking, smoking, and clubbing all day with no plans or ambitions for the future. Now, I know it seems crazy at first that this idea of just becoming a new person sounds scientifically impossible, or it just doesn't sound realistic at all. But once you understand what actually makes up who you are, what makes up the self, then you can literally just change who you are fundamentally as a person. Obviously, you can't change your flesh, your skin, your bones, but you can change everything around that. But your biological structure won't matter much, because when you're meeting someone, you don't acknowledge someone by their skin, their bones, their structure, their veins, or whatever, right? You acknowledge them by their name, by what they stand for, their beliefs, their identity. So going back to what actually makes up who you are is the self. And the self is made up of 3 parts: your mind, your body, and your spirit. And all you have to do to literally change who you are, like people around you are gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't recognize this guy anymore. You just have to change all 3 of those things. And yes, it sounds simple, but it's a little bit deeper than that. Because in those 3 pillars of the self, mind, body, and spirit, what makes up the mind? Well, your mind can be your beliefs, your mindset, your perspective on things. Say, for example, someone may have a more realistic view on things, or someone may have a more optimistic view on things. And depending on that, their decisions in life become drastically different, which then result in them becoming drastically different people. And then if we take the body, for example, if you look at someone that's skinny, bare bones skinny, or if you look at someone that's fat, or if you look at someone that's fit, they're also gonna have different lifestyles and different decisions when it comes to their life. And finally, we have the spirit, which is what they believe in outside of the physical world. What life philosophy do they believe in, right? And this directly impacts how you would live your life and how you come across as a person. So just by tweaking these 3 pillars, the mind, body, and spirit, you can literally change the orientation of how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself. So if you're currently unsatisfied with your life right now, whether you're not where you want to be, where you don't look as healthy as you could be, or you're currently stuck or lost in life with no direction, or you're not getting the girls that you want to get, like whatever it is, all you have to do is literally change your mind and body and spirit. And with the identity of a degenerate, what is a degenerate's orientation of the mind and body and spirit? Well, prioritize the pleasures of life other than deeper meaning, right? They would love more shallow, more having fun now and think about it later kind of mindsets, right? And this mindset and this mind ultimately results in them drinking, clubbing, smoking every other day. On top of that, there's the body of a degenerate. Degenerates don't really care about putting in deep work for a longer term return. So they're more focused on short-term gratification. So that would mean that their bodies would be skinny or unhealthy because they wouldn't put in the effort to go to a gym to actually make themselves look better and look healthier. And then finally, we have their spirit. Most religious frameworks and most life philosophies that result in an actual good and fulfilling life advocate against getting caught up into drugs, drinking, smoking, all of these shallow, lustful, sinning activities, right? So that would mean a degenerate spirit would be quite nihilistic almost, or just completely against these religious frameworks or most life philosophies. So they probably don't have any life philosophy. They just go with the flow, right? They just go with what they feel like in the current moment, which sounds good in theory, but again, results in degeneracy and results in regret in the future. But again, what's crazy was I was this degenerate person, and all it took was 24 hours, maybe even less than 24 hours, to completely make that switch and become a completely new person. Obviously, the switch is instant, but the results take time. Right, but it all begins from a switch. So from this degenerate mind, body, and spirit, I designed a new mind, body, and spirit that my desired self would be, right? So for example, a mind that's locked in on the future, on the well-being of myself and my future family, my future kids. I had this mindset where I wanted to become the person that could provide for them, right? And then we have the body. I wanted to actually be healthy. I wanted to look good. I wanted to have a good body. And then finally, we have the spirit. My life was unfulfilling. I was lost. I was stuck. I had no direction because of this degenerate spirit. So then I had to design a desired spirit where I believed in God, where I had a philosophy where I prioritized long-term solutions as opposed to short ones. I no longer sinned. I was no longer lustful. I was no longer gluttonous. I was no longer envious. Whatever it is, I focused on love and fulfillment. And the switch happened instantly, but the results didn't. All my friends, everyone around me still saw me as the same fun, outgoing guy that you could go to the club with all the time, and he's just like, go with the flow, YOLO. But internally, I was already changed. I was already beginning the path of becoming this desired self. And over time, I took action. I had the fundamental framework and I just took action towards it. And over time, I became unrecognizable. My friends no longer recognized me. They no longer found me fun because I wasn't a degenerate like them. And they were also kind of proud to see me change into a completely new person. And this goes back to my video where if you're not satisfied with the current state of your life right now, just become a new person. Because you can. This idea that change is hard or you can't just change who you are is just bullshit. Yes, you can. I did it myself. All you have to do, look, I'll repeat this again. All you have to do is understand where you stand currently in the mind and body and spirit, the self, what makes up the self, the mind, body, and spirit. And after you define what that is now, I want you to define the mind and body and spirits of where you want to be or the person you want to be. And after you have these 2 points, A and B, A being where you are now, where you don't want to be, and then B is where you want to go and who you want to be. And after you have these defined, all you have to do is just take the actions and take the steps to become this person. And that's literally all. That's how you become a new person. And if that's still all too confusing for you, you can click the first link in the description where I'll personally show you how to do all of this, how to change into a completely new person and live the life you actually want to live and no longer waste time, no longer live in regret. But it's only for people that are serious about change. I don't want people that are just mental masturbators that don't take any action. But if you're not ready to invest in yourself, then click the second link in the description, which takes you to my free community where you can surround yourself with other people on the same journey to change. And you can even speak to me personally where I give you some tips on your journey to change. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. One last time to enjoy this view. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.